So, I'm not exactly sure what to say. This is a lot of time that I spent on this page. It's scrunched down into 18 minutes, but I'm not a music person, so I'm not sure what uh, you're supposed to put over here. I would love to just, find something and throw it on there because maybe just want to chill out while watching lines happen on paper. But I have not looked into what kind of music is public domain, which would have been a good thing to do, but I also wanted to put this up, and if I don't put it up now, then I'm going to wait even longer to do so. And I'm I'm working on this is the third page. I am working on the second page, and I'd like to get the second page done by the end of this week, and then I'll put that up, and hopefully it'll look as nice as this does. It's so funny how when it's sped up, it looks a lot more like you know what you're doing. Probably because it takes so much less time to do so, especially when you're giving yourself far too much details to do. The plan for this is that the the flashbacks, that this is what the flashbacks are going to look like. And then I'm not going to torture myself as much for the present day stuff. And flashbacks will be differently handled than if someone actually looks into the past, because looking into the past is different than seeing something that happened in the past, and I am splitting hairs there. Probably because I really like how this looks, but oh my goodness, you you have to have all your mental faculties together to be able to focus on a page and just keep on grinding at it and not hating what you're doing. But what's the use of making something if nobody sees it? And I've physically shown this to people, but there's so many more people in the world than you can physically show a page to. I mean, granted, yes, we do have technology that you can show things to people over long distances, and that is technically what I'm doing here. But I, in the way that if you're reading a manga and you see the black backgrounds and the black gutters, and you know that is a flashback, I'm going to be using the same thing with gray gutters here. So, yeah, hopefully that's something that's going to be apparent, that, maybe people will even pick up and not even think about, as long as I can keep that continuity. Saw an entire thing about a series that lost its continuity after 2 seasons, and yeah, I wish that I had someone to kick me in the butt about stuff and things, and there has been life getting in the way of my drawing, but now I can't use that as an excuse. I refuse to use that as an excuse, and that's why I'm putting this up here. And anyone who doesn't want to hear me just ramble on as the pretty drawing is going, I do not blame you. I just didn't want to put this up with complete silence. This character on the page is one of my favorites. She also seems to insist on getting a larger part in the story than I had planned to. But I think that's okay. It's an interesting enough looking character. Like I said, I'm working on page 2 right now, which doesn't have the full reveal of what she looks like. There is one panel, I almost said scene. There's one panel where you see her hand and you see the little clawness to her hand, which could be written off as she just has some really wicked long nails, something I cannot relate to. But that could also be said about anyone who works with their hands a lot. I am amazed when I see people who are able to get through the day with the really long nails, especially when they're coming against things like buttons. You see a lot of different techniques for how they approach buttons, because my first thought would be that they would just stab them with the nails, which mostly they don't do, because then that would be putting pressure into the bed of the nail, and that would hurt, especially if they're a fake nail. Even if it's like a glued fake nail, then that would probably hurt a lot, because then you'd be pulling on it and pressing it at the same time. But in this page, you see her just climbing up this incredibly tall piece of rock, and it is difficult to find certain shots of real rocks like that. I'm working on a panel right now where you get the shot directly from above, and that's harder to find than you think. I considered just like taking some clay and molding it and taking a picture of it, because I have gone to the extent of actually recreating something in 3 dimensions to draw it if I can't quite get the angle to feel correct, which, yeah, I know that's not the same thing as actually being correct. And I will play fast and loose with certain angles. I may just cross my fingers when I draw buildings, because there's I'm better at getting more organic shapes done. So I'll try to get the perspective right, but I am definitely not the person who breaks out the multiple rulers to get all the perspectives right at the beginning of the drawing, which, yeah, I know. You should. And it will be technically more right, but especially when you're drawing on a tablet, it's... I mean, unless you're just gonna break out like a little reference cheat sheet and, you know, get all of the roofs exactly right and all of I I could be better about using those as reference, but then it feels like it's not going to match up as well with the stuff that I do more freehand. And I don't know if you can tell on this, but I will spend a frigging hour on finger placement until it just feels like a hand, and it feels like it has the meat and the chunk and the weight to it, and I just want the backgrounds and the foregrounds to work together. And if you're working off of a pre-established angle that you didn't draw, it feels more like you're trying to adapt your drawing to something that you just clipped into there. And I know people do that, and they do that well, but I I haven't been able to make that worth it for me. I mean, I'm flecking the frigging stars into the sky, and I know that there are much easier ways to do that. You can just drop in pre-drawn stars. I'm much too stubborn. There's totally the part in my brain that will never stop screaming that you have to have every part of your drawing be original. But it's not like there's going to be, you know, a police force that knocks on your door because you took some daisy emote, or not emote, and some daisy zipatone. Yeah, no one uses that anymore. Tone. Use a daisy tone design. See, because I am using different textured brushes. It's obvious right there. And part of the reason that I'm not using tones as much as I like in this is because I was having a hard time finding those in this program. It's the same reason that even when this page is done, I don't have the little dialogue boxes in, because that's also something that I have not easily found in this program. You know, when I've done enough pages, I'm going to probably bring them over to Clip Studio, because I still have that original, I've completely bought it version of the program on my laptop, my very old laptop that I will hopefully replace before it dies. But if if that laptop was a human, it would be in middle school. Yeah, I did get this tablet, and I'm drawing on it, and then I'll transfer that over to there, and hopefully by the time that it's necessary, I will get together a desktop that has the capacity for arting. My poor little potato laptop. Seriously, it it was came into my life in 2010, and I don't know how many of you still have your computer from then. I just got made fun of for that earlier today. But yeah, this did give me a good chance to learn a lot about the Procreate program. And I learned even more when I did a little entry for Webtoon, which I did it in the same. I mean, all my stories are kind of in the same kind of weird world. I think that my brain lives in the Twilight Zone. But you know, the episodes of the Twilight Zone where the weirdy people are mostly nice, but yeah, I know that this is an 18-minute long recording, which was I'm sorry, I'm not a replacement for music. And I mean, right now I am thinking about people who have made comics, and that I would like to do that too. It 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 would be nice if it wasn't just me, but it is just me. But since this entire thing is in my head, then who else can do this? You know, I feel bad for all of these people and creatures that just exist in my head. They deserve a better place to be than there. Well, I mean, most of them. I am kind of a horrible. uh, what do you call yourself? The god of this story? That's kind of funny. Well, thanks for watching.